QROPS, or Qualifying Recognised Overseas Pension Schemes, do they still have a place in the 2020s? In this video, we'll take a look at what they are, who can take advantage of them, and the potential benefits of moving your pension out of the UK. If you're a resident in Spain with a UK pension, there are 4 basic choices open to you. 1. You could leave your pension where it is, but there may be issues with this approach, especially now the UK has left the EU. 2. You could buy an annuity, but these are often seen as poor value and very restrictive. 3. You could consider transferring out into an international SIPP or self-invested personal pension, and we'll concentrate on that in the next video. Or 4. Transfer your UK pension or pensions into a QROPS plan for overseas residents. So what are these QROPS and why would you consider a transfer into one? Well, briefly, in 2006, something called Pensions A Day happened in the UK, where there were quite some changes made to legislation. One of these changes resulted in a new rule allowing residents leaving for foreign shores to take their pensions with them. Hence the birth of the Qualifying Recognised Overseas Pension Scheme, or QROPS for short. So fast forward to the 2020s, and QROPS are still alive and kicking, but many changes have taken place in the interim with UK pension legislation, some of which has had a direct effect on QROPS, making them a slightly different proposition to what they were all those years ago. So let's take a look at which types of pension can and cannot be transferred to a QROPS if you've left or you're planning to leave the UK. In the main, you can transfer from most private or company pensions, whether or not you're still contributing to them. You can also consider transferring from a defined benefit or final salary scheme as long as you're not already taking benefits. However, you can't transfer your state pension. Also, you can't transfer out of many public sector schemes such as the NHS, police, MOD, teachers and government pensions. And finally, if you bought an annuity, you can't transfer from this arrangement either. Right, so what are the main benefits of a QROPS? Well, firstly, you're taking your pension out of the UK regime and to a certain extent shielding it from future changes to legislation. Secondly, a QROPS is not subject to the UK lifetime allowance restrictions. This is important because once your pension value breaches the lifetime allowance ceiling, you'll pay an excess charge of 25%. That allowance is currently set at just over £1 million, and whilst I appreciate that may not affect many pension pots, for those that are approaching this ceiling or even over the lifetime allowance, a QROPS could be an excellent solution. Moving on, a lot of people living or moving abroad simply want to cut ties with the UK for emotional reasons. But in fact, there may be a more serious rationale for doing this that many are not aware of. If you were born in Great Britain or to a British father, you retain UK domicile status for life, even if you move overseas and are officially resident in another country, and this can make your estate liable, upon your death, to UK inheritance tax, unless it can be proven that you'd cut all those ties. Now, UK pensions as well as QROPS don't form part of your estate for inheritance tax purposes, but a UK pension could be seen as a connection to the UK if you still have it when you die, whereas a QROPS, of course, is located abroad. Other benefits of a QROPS include being able to consolidate 2 or more pensions into one, a broader range of investments available, having your benefits paid gross with no tax at source, UK-style pension freedoms, and the choice to have your QROPS denominated in euros should you wish, thus removing the constant exchange rate risk if you plan to take regular income. Now, what about the location of the QROPS providers? Well, you may be surprised to hear that they're not in Spain. In fact, the main hub for QROPS pension trustees is Malta, and there are some very good reasons for this. In the first instance, Malta, as with Spain, is inside the European Economic Area, or EEA. This is relevant because as from March 2017, the UK government introduced something called the Overseas Transfer Charge, a penalty of 25% on a transfer if either the QROPS or the pension holder are located outside of the EEA, unless the member is resident in the same country in which the QROPS receiving the transfer is established. Of course, this doesn't apply if you have a Malta QROPS and you live in Spain, as both are inside the EEA. Malta is also a strongly regulated financial jurisdiction, and being in the EU is subject to rules on the free flow of capital, so that, among other things, future pension payments should not be disrupted. Furthermore, all the information from QROPS providers is in English, and there is a dual tax treaty in place with Spain, ensuring that income tax is not payable at source in Malta when withdrawals are made. Finally, Malta is one of the only locations to mirror the pension freedoms introduced by the UK government in 2015. This is known as flexible access, something which many UK pension providers are not allowing overseas residents to benefit from. So with the QROPS, once you're over the age of 55, you can take as much as you want when you want it. Of course, you have to be mindful of the potential tax liability in Spain, and I would encourage you to contact us about this, as it depends on your individual situation. Now, it goes without saying that expert advice from a qualified professional experienced in both the UK and Spanish regime must be taken when it comes to pension transfers, particularly as a QROPS may not be the most appropriate option for everyone. Pensions are not a one-size-fits-all subject, and it's important that the advice process is bespoke to your own circumstances. We are part of a regulated group that hold all the appropriate licenses to give advice in Spain and the rest of the EU, as well as being registered with the Spanish authorities. An important footnote here is to always be aware of the potential for pension scams. Be very wary of cold callers, people encouraging you to cash in all your pension, especially before the age of 55, and promising you high returns from exotic non-EU regulated investments. You should be careful to check their credentials and make sure they represent a regulated company. So that's it for now. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and in the next one I'll talk about the alternative to QROPS, the International SIPP pension. But for now, it's bye from me.